Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Taylor, and this is Kickback Talks. And you know what? If you got your blunt, light that shit up right now. And if you got your drink, hey, I know it's 4 o'clock somewhere, so take a motherfucking shot for me. Here on Kickback Talks, we like to discuss different topics, and I'll give my opinion. But always remember that my point of view is my point of view, in my opinion. You're always entitled to have your own perspective. Even though we bring in different outlooks from different angles, you're always entitled to your own perspective because these opinions are my motherfucking opinions. Let's chat. Yo, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about stereotypes. Yeah, I said it's stereotypes. Today I pulled the word stereotypes out of the bowl of randomness. And I know we've been getting a lot of problematic words, and not necessarily problematic, but we've been getting more in-depth words. Let's take it like that. Yeah, we've been getting more in-depth words. We live in 2020, so of course we've all been stereotyped by somebody of a different sex, a different class, a different ethnicity. At one point in time, we might not have known it. It might not have been so open to us, or so it might not have been to the fact where we noticed it so fast, but I'm pretty sure that 99.5% of us have been stereotyped by the opposite sex, by somebody in a different class bracket than us, or by somebody in a different ethnicity. So pulling the word stereotype out of the bowl of randomness, it made me pull up this quote by Shirley Chisholm. And it says, "We must reject not only the stereotypes that others have built of us, but also those that we have of ourselves."
Message.
Interesting. After reading that, it made me pull up this article. And it's titled, "Stop the BS. When you hear negative statistics about black students, question it."
Message.
He has this picture of this nice looking black man. Come on, black excellence. And the article continues to read, "Evidence suggests white teachers are more negative with and have lower expectations for black students."
Message.
As a counseling professor who specializes in educating black children, these findings do not surprise me. I often hear education professionals and others use simplistic negative statistics to explain complex challenges facing black students. In my book, I refer to these kind of negative statistics as bullshit, BS, or bad stats, are data points that are incomplete, poorly contextualized, usually negative, and sometimes wrong. My book uses data, research, and anecdotes to confront 9 lines about education and black students. I give 3 examples of falsehood here. Myth number 1. More black men are in prison than college. In 2002, the Justice Policy Institute released a report called Cell Blocks or Classrooms. The report was meant to spur policymakers to invest in college education for black males. One line resonated and echoed more than others. Nearly a third more African American men are incarcerated than in higher education. Was it ever true? As I noticed in an interview with the BBC in 2013, the Justice Policy Institute accurately reported the federal education data available at the time. The problem is that the data was incomplete. For instance, several historically black college universities, as well as my alma mater, Temple University, where I was enrolled as a doctoral candidate in 2001, reported no black male students in 2001, which would have been impossible. Colleges have apparently gotten better at reporting race and gender data since. When documentary filmmaker Janks Morton and I first published our 2011 response to the claim that there were more black men in prison than in college, we referred it by showing that there were about 1.3 million black men in college and 840,000 black men in prison. By 2015, the total number of black men in college was 1,437,363, and the total incarcerated was 745,660. A chart that I produced in 2013 shows the trend in black male incarceration and college enrollment over the 10 years after JPI reported. Not only is more black men in prison than college false, it may lead to a bad policy and practice for black boys. In my view, educators who believe their black male students have a better chance in ending up in jail than college might focus more on preventing delinquency rather than helping them realize their college potential. Myth number 2. Black students lag in reading ability. Bitch, look at me, I'm reading right now. Before writing off an entire school because of test scores, educators should become familiar with the specific assessments used, the circumstances by which the test was administered, and basic concepts of testing theory, considered Orange County School Board member Rick Roach, who, what kind of fucking name is that, Rick Roach? Who, in a quest to understand reading tests better, took Florida State tests for reading comprehension, although he has 2 master's degrees. He failed. Rick Roach experience recommends educators look for beyond the test to assess achievement. Myth number 3. Single mothers are to blame for problems among black students. In a training, a teacher told me that single mothers were the number 1 reason for black boys getting suspended. When I asked the teacher what research supports this conclusion, he insinuated that it was common knowledge. The study also found that parents of black students receive less frequent and more negative communication from their child's schools. Specifically, parents of black students were the most likely to receive phone calls from school because of a problem with their child's behavior or academic performances. Parents of white children were most likely to receive regular newsletters. 3 parenting factors that increase students' academic functioning regardless of material status. The first, academic socialization. This is lessons around the goals and purpose of education and strategies for success. The second is positive preparing, which is when parents frequently tell their child they love them and are proud of them and reinforce good behavior. The third is having high expectations, such as expecting children to finish college. Why we need to stop BS. The first step to correcting a problem is to acknowledge that it exists. We read that that stereotypes can affect children's learning, and not necessarily because it messes with like insecurities or it messes with like how they think, but it's surrounded by the people that educate them. If you think that they gonna fail as soon as they walk in the door, what's your purpose of teaching them? If you're not inspired to create art with them, what's your purpose of showing them how to paint pictures? If you're not like, you know what I'm saying? If you already have a negative connotation as to your student, why are you doing your job? Message. Because as black people, we've always been knocked down and oppressed because of our melanin. You know what I'm saying? But let's take a smoke break before I come back and give y'all my thoughts on stereotypes. And the first song that we are going to get into is Vibe You Need by Amber Nicole. So leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think of the music. And this is Vibe You Need by Amber Nicole.
I like it, can I get to know you better? You're so dope fly, I can't forget it. Ooh, I like it, can I get to know you better? Cause by the look in my eyes, just might have found a winner. I felt your presence, heavy all over me. Tell me where you come from, I ain't met nobody so fit from me. I can't explain the influence that you gave to me. Make a girl just wanna give it all up, heart sunk 60 deep. Baby, I didn't mean to get involved, but I really can't help but fall. Real hard for you, I'ma be real with it and tell you what's the truth. I like feeling this way, so glad you came my way. This energy appeals to me, boy, I'm the vibe you need. I like it, can I get to know you better? You always so dope fly, I can't forget it. Ooh, I like it, can I get to know you better? Cause by the look in my eyes, just might have found a winner. I know what you used to can't compare to this. An easy kill with some substance, forget you has been past tense. It's crazy how you do what you do with tension that won't quit. I cannot find the time to make you mine, cause I'm the vibe you need. Didn't mean to get involved, but I really can't help but fall. Real hard for you, I'ma be real with it and tell you what's the truth. I like feeling this way, so glad you came my way. This energy appeals to me, boy, I'm the vibe you tell me all the things that I wanna hear, that you really, really wanna be here. I wanna give you permission, give me your very undivided attention. Kiss my soul, make it worth my while. I can change your life, I'm all into this feeling you give. Oh, I didn't mean to get involved, but I really can't help but fall. Real hard for you, I'ma be real with it and tell you what's the truth. I like feeling this way, so glad you came my way. This energy appeals to me, boy, I'm the vibe you need.
And that was Vibe You Need by Amber Nicole. The next song that we're going to get into is Mardi Gras by my girl One Law. You know, I always got to throw it down to Texas one good time. And this is Mardi Gras by One Law.
Yeah, One Law, you already know what it is. This a motherfucking dub, bitch. Yeah, we gonna turn up something like this, something like that.
Ori, the beat.
Just shit the pack up to Louisiana. Mardi Gras dancing all in my Fanta. Donna Dasher pressing all my diamonds vixens. I got that big old bag on me like I'm Santa. Got your bitch rolling up dope on Jones to me like my name was Mrs. Indiana. Mason Margellas look like a Martian. Just like a movie, you know I'm starring. When I come down the street swerving my foreign, you bitches next looking lopsided. Trying to figure how I got mine. Bitch stay on my lane, hop about mine. Know y'all niggas thinking, damn, lot of rap now. I'm thinking, bitch, it's about time to show y'all niggas how we swing and bang from 249 to the south side. Hold a bitch, bitch, I ain't coming from it. You don't wanna start it with me. I'ma have your head knocked off with your shoulder leaning, pop you like a soda can, mix you like a wizard man, looking like the little itch you could, but you know I can't. You hoes don't want no problems, man. Gas, call it contraband. The way I bag it up and move around like the big man. I'm out here whipping the paint, just like I whipping the grain. Throwing that ass, looking back, made I'm faint. Eat it up, looking like it's a milkshake. Steak, shrimp, lobsters all on your plate. My baby know he fucking with the great. Packs in them bricks, toting them sticks. Move the wrong way, you get hit like a bitch. Come to your side, fuck it up, then we dip. You bitches know you ain't built for this shit. Just shit the pack up to Louisiana. Mardi Gras dancing all in my Fanta. Donna Dasher pressing all my diamonds vixens. I got that big old bag on me like I'm Santa. Got your bitch rolling up dope on Jones to me like my name was Mrs. Indiana. Mason Margellas look like a Martian. Just like a movie, you know I'm starring. Big pack up to Louisiana. Mardi Gras dancing all in my Fanta. Donna Dasher pressing all my diamonds vixens. I got that big old bag on me like I'm Santa. Got your bitch rolling up dope on Jones to me like my name was Mrs. Indiana. Mason Margellas look like a Martian. Just like a movie, you know I'm starring.
Yo, that was Mardi Gras by my girl One Law. And the first song before that was called Vibe You Need by my girl Amber Nicole. Leave your comments down below and let me know what y'all thought about the music. So, Before we left, y'all, we was talking about the word stereotypes. And we read a quote, also read an article about stereotypes. My perspective on the word stereotypes is that it's you being lazy. You get where I'm coming from? You're being lazy because you're not taking the time out to get to know the person that you're attaching the stereotype to. Me being a black man, so when I walk past cops, I automatically have a negative connotation in my mind about them motherfuckers, because we saw that video that went viral on Twitter and social media about the white cop that let all those white kids through. And then she told that little black girl that she wouldn't be able to go through, and that the little black girl wasn't welcomed at the train station at all. My thing for that is, granted, that's a type of racism, but in my head now it put a bad taste in my mouth about cops, because I felt like they all was on some fuck shit at that point. And don't get me wrong, I have family members, friends that are police officers, and so I understand that not all, you get what I'm saying, not all cops are dirty or negative or, you know what I mean, straight up pigs, but that notion of that white cop pushing that little girl out the train station just made me just put a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to bitches and niggas that wear blue. The word stereotype, we attach it to all kind of things, cultural and economically. When you think about countries or continents, I said countries. When you think of continents like Africa or islands like Cambodia. When you think of continents like Africa or third world countries like Cambodia, we automatically get an image in our head because all those fucking back channel shows that they be playing when the dogs be dying, and then they'll play a little image of little kids with their belly swollen and shit like that. So when you hear Africa, you automatically think of when you hear Africa, the stereotype that's already put in our imaginations or in our thought process is that they are poor, or that they're not wealthy, or that they or you know what I mean, that it's very sick. In the same way, Cambodia, you think oh, it's low class, they have and this is all my opinion, so don't take it the wrong way, I'm just giving examples, but you think that that they don't have the necessary resources that it takes to survive, because of all of the images that media has put in our heads. And granted, though that's false media, it's still a sense of having a stereotype. You get where I'm coming from? When I was in college, because I tell you guys all the time that I graduated from a conservatory. I'm not going to name the conservatory because, yeah, y'all already know. I ain't trying to get them dragged or no shit like that. But when I was in college, I had this one classmate, right? And this bitch had the audacity to tell me, oh my gosh, Denzel, you know, for a black person, you have really good feet. Meaning that because I went to a school that was based on like ballet and dance and movement, a stereotype about African Americans in the dance industry is that we don't have feet. Meaning that we can't articulate our ankles. We can't stretch our ankles. We're primarily flat-footed. And so that bitch had the audacity to tell me after she saw me warming my feet up, oh my gosh, Denzel, you have really good feet for a black dude. And in the back of my head, no lies, she said, oh my gosh, Denzel, you have really good feet for a black dude. And automatically I said thank you, because I thought that it was a compliment. And so I was like, oh, thank you. You know, she just complimented my feet. Then I stopped for a second and I looked at my friend and I asked my friend, did that bitch just tell me that I had good feet for a black person? Like straight up, just like you got good feet for a black person. I guess because I heard my name in that hoe, I didn't think that she was talking about my race in general. But then going back and thinking about it, I said, this hoe just insulted me in the most nicest, nastiest way possible. This bitch just gave me a motherfucking compliment and an insult with a smile on her face. And then put me in the motherfucking category with hoes that probably have never even danced a day in their life. And that's my thing. We have some of the most talented ballerinas that we know are African Americans. So for that bitch to sit there and tell me, yo, you got good feet for a black man, it made me think, bitch, and you don't smell. Shut up, Denzel. You can't say things like that. But you know where I was going with that. Outside and ranch, bitch. Outside and ranch. But that was one instance in my college days of me being stereotyped. And even though it wasn't as negative, it still was insulting because I went to a predominantly black institution because it was built off an institution of a black person. But, you know, we got to let all kind of people in that hole to keep the lights on. So, with that being said, yeah, it was a negative statement. The statement that bitch made was negative, but it wasn't as destructive as calling me the N-word, or because I'm gay, I'm attracted to every man that's around me, or because I dance, I'm automatically this, that, and the other, or because I live in New York, I'm gonna catch an STD because I'm black. Like, you know, those dumbass stereotypes that people place on you that make you feel a type of way. Not because they hurt your feelings, but they make you feel a type of way because it's like, damn, I'm not even that kind of fucking person. So how can you classify me as that? You know what I'm saying? I was on a flight one time, right? And I ain't gonna name the name of the flight company because I ain't trying to get them hoes dragged. But I was on a motherfucking flight one time. And what you call those people? The flight attendant. I asked her as soon as I got in the airplane. I said, excuse me, may I go to the restroom? Because I'm a diabetic and I have to go to the restroom. Like, because I'm not lying to you, bitch. I am a diabetic. I've always been one since I was 12 years old. So I had to go piss. And so I asked her, excuse me, can I go to the restroom? Da da da. And with the nicest energy, with vibrant and radiant energy, she was like, yeah, you can go, da da da. Mind you, she was somebody's old white ass grandma. So she was still a flight attendant, but she was still somebody's old white ass grandma. And she had kind of like a southern twang to her tone of voice. And as I'm walking back from the restroom, that bitch looks me in my eyes and she says, mind you, I was in the restroom probably for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops. And so I leave out the restroom, right? That bitch gonna come up to me as I'm walking out the bathroom and say, excuse me, were you smoking in the restroom? I looked at her. First, I was dumbfounded because y'all hoes make a big ass public service announcement as soon as the plane starts that says that you can't smoke on this hoe. You can't smoke on this hoe. 2 people can't go in the bathroom at the same time, and you also wherever the emergency exits are. Y'all bitches give us a motherfucking PSA like at the beginning of the flight. So for you to think that my ass would just disrespectfully just go up in the restroom and just like ignore the captains of the flight, ignore the passengers of the flight, and ignore like the rules that y'all hoes just gave me in this aircraft 30-something thousand feet over the air, like in the air, and you think that my ass about to go light up a motherfucking blunt in the motherfucking restroom. Mind you, I was in there for 3 minutes. So if I literally, cause I ain't even finished the blunt that I was smoking for smoke break just now. It's still half of that hoe. So the point that I'm making is, if I was really about to go in that bitch and smoke a blunt, it would have took me more time, and then also that hoe would have been smoky. It was 4 people that went into that bathroom before I got up in there, because it was as soon as I got on the plane. So, you know, you got like your grandmas, you got your old women, they got to go piss and all that kind of shit. And so, you know, my young self, I let all the ladies go in first. And so then I go. But what got me is, as I'm walking out that hoe, that lady stops me. And then she didn't ask me as if she was asking me a question. She was asking me as if that hoe already knew that I had smoked in the bathroom. So it wasn't excuse me, sir, did you happen to smell like smoke while you was in the bathroom? It was were you smoking in the bathroom? And I looked at her and I said, no, were you? And she goes, oh, well, I just thought, and I said, yeah, I'm black, so you thought that I was smoking in the bathroom, after your ass literally just said that this aircraft does not allow people to smoke. It doesn't allow people to go in the bathroom like a male and a female at the same time. And it don't allow 2 grown ass people, because, you know, in this society we got same sex couples, we got same sex marriages. So it was just a generalized, like, you know, y'all hoes can't be fucking in the bathroom pretty much. And so then after that, they go to give you the rules about like how you gonna exit off the plane. But what offended me by this whole incident was the fact that her tone of voice, she was already chastising me for something that I wasn't even doing. Like, throughout the flight, I was sitting next to this nice little kid, his mama, and they were African American as well. So it was a very chill, like, flight. It was just that one moment where that bitch was like, was you smoking in the bathroom? And then it wasn't even like she was asking me a question, so she ain't even give me the benefit of the doubt. That hoe was like, yo nigga, I know you was smoking in that bathroom, and I'm about to call the air marshals and they about to come get your ass. So in that moment, my whole heart dropped, because it was like, I fucking fly this company probably at least 5 times a year. Like I'm on this company's aircraft. So it's like, if you even pull up, I don't even know if airports can do that shit, but I'm like, pull up my motherfucking flight records, bitch. Like, pull up my flight resume on some type shit and look and see if I've ever given your organization or your institution or your corporation a problem as a passenger. Because I've lived in New York for 6 years, and if I said that I fly like 5 times a year, and sometimes it's even more than that, so 6 times 5 is 30, and then plus probably like 10 or 15 that we just ain't count, yada yada yada, within the 6 years, that's 45 flights that I've taken, and I've never gotten in trouble or never gotten like harassed or offended or anything like that. Like, so bitch, pull up my flight records and let me know, within the last 6 years, have I ever been like demerited by a motherfucking flight attendant? Have I ever got in trouble with airport security? Like, run back my receipt so that I can know why the fuck you would fix your mouth to ask me this ignorant ass question. I know why you asked it. Cause I'm a black man with a hat on, with his pants on, with my pants kind of baggy. I had on a sweatshirt. So, you know, I was serving very urban trendy, you know, very urban streetwear. Not homeless urban, But I was serving very urban streetwear. Go watch Project Runway and go look at what they talk about like urban streetwear is. So that's what the fuck I was rocking. Like I was rocking my little, urban streetwear. So I understand. Well, not that I understand. Not that I'm giving that bitch any benefit of the doubt. But I get why she questioned me. Because of how I was dressed. Serving very hip-hop music R&B video. And so I understand why you asked me, but I'm still curious as the fact is, was that bitch right to ask me that? The way that she asked me. And that's a real life question. It's not me just being a brat or me just being a douche, but that's really a real life question. Because we attach these stereotypes onto people and we don't even fucking know them. If that bitch would have sat down and talked to me, she probably would have figured out like, oh yeah, I come from a religious background. Like I got both my parents. I wasn't raised by one parent, and I was in performing arts schools growing up, and yada yada yada. Like if you would have actually took the time out to sit down and talk to me before you accused me, because you didn't ask me no questions, bitch. You accused me of motherfucking smoking in the bathroom. And not even vaping. Like legit smoking. Like pulled out the backwoods, rolled that shit up, lit that hoe in the bathroom and smoked that bitch. So if you would have set your bitch ass down and did your job as a fucking flight attendant and talked and mingled with the people getting on the plane instead of having that nasty ass Maleficent attitude. And yes, I know Maleficent is a character, but I'm basing her attitude on that bitch. Like, having that Maleficent attitude, you probably would have knew, oh my gosh, that's actually a very educated young black man. And he would never, break the law and smoke on a plane, bitch. Come on now. On a plane. Now, when I was in Canada, I did smoke a joint at the airport, but smoking is legal at Canada, and I was in the parking lot of the airport, so that's not on the plane. That's like in the parking lot, down the street, and around the corner from the aircrafts. But this bitch had the audacity to ask me, did I smoke on the motherfucking plane? Have y'all ever dealt with negative stereotypes? And probably not even negative stereotypes, but like stereotypes in general. Like in general. That just annoy the fuck out of you. And if they do, leave your comments down below and let me know what some of those stereotypes are that get under your skin or just so happen to grind your motherfucking gears. But I'm Denzel Taylor, and this has been Kickback Talks. I 100% dare you to continue to be you. Don't let any negative outlook of the things that you have going on or on the people that you hang with affect your personality towards your circle or your team, or in general the people that's your neighbors in your neighborhood. Don't let some ignorant shit that you saw on the internet or on a troll page or on, or on some fake woke ass page make you negatively start putting stereotypes on people. Because like we read, that shit can affect education. That shit can affect health. Because the same way that they do education, they do health. A black person walks into the hospital, and because they're black, you automatically think that they don't have insurance. And so they get pushed to the back of the room when a white person that probably don't have no insurance at all walks into the motherfucking room and they're helped. Because of that negative stereotypes of black people in the healthcare system. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how the fuck we can run some shit. Like, half the shit that's made in the world was built by African Americans or by, like, black people. Half the shit that was made in the world was built by black people. Math was created by black people. Science was created by black people. But yeah, you never see us getting stereotyped to be, oh my gosh, that dude is gonna be that dude's gonna be the next rocket scientist out of this world. Oh my gosh, that guy right there, he's going to be the next, the next Nobel Peace Prize winner. Oh, that guy over there, he's gonna be the #1 veterinarian in America. Oh, that guy right there, he's gonna build equations that can take you to past the moon all the way to planet X. We never hear those type of stereotypes because it would make us stronger. You get where I'm coming from? If black people wasn't in the world would fucking stop. So they create these caricatures. They create these characters, these caricatures, these memes and these stereotypes of black people in our communities. And even though they create the memes and the caricatures behind it, they still attempt to get like it. You get what I'm saying? So I challenge you, don't get affected by the negative stereotypes that surround you, that come your direction. Always walk in your light and know that we are standing on something stronger than just what people think about us. Yo, Kickback Talks, I'm Denzel Taylor. I love you and I am out. Yo, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this. Share this with your friends. Share this with everybody. I love you guys. And yeah.